Hello, and welcome back to this series of tutorials on the Python computer programming language. Some of you may have noticed last time that if you close the interpreter, the program you were working on is not there the next time you start it up. You may have been wondering, how exactly do I go about saving my code so I can look at it later? Well, that will be our first topic in this tutorial segment. In Python, a program that persists after the interpreter is closed is known as a script. Scripts are a series of Python commands listed in a file. After you write a script, you can use the interpreter to run your program as if you had just typed it. Let's look at an example. I will write a short script using some of the concepts that you learned in the last tutorial. First, let's have a look at this window to my left, which is the text editor. From here, we will create and edit our script. I will call my script pets.py. So the name of every Python script ends with the .py, which tells your computer that the script should be run using the Python interpreter. Now let's write the script. Now that our script is done, the time has come to run it. In order to invoke the interpreter on the script, we have to take a look at the window to the right, which is the command prompt. In the command prompt, we type the following: Python pets.py. Hit enter, and we get the result of our script. Can you write a different script and run it? Try it! At some point in your life, you have probably found yourself in a situation where you have to make some kind of decision. For example, maybe your parents have asked you to choose between cake and pie for dessert. Computers need to make decisions between two or more options very frequently. In programming, we use what is called an if statement to ask the computer to make the decision. An if statement consists of the following: if some condition do this. You may have guessed that some condition and do this are not actual Python commands. They are simply placeholders. Python will run any real commands that are under the if statement if the condition within the if statement is true. Let's take a look at an actual condition to see how this works. Oh, whoops, forgot in colon. The double equals is called the comparison operator. It causes the computer to compare 2 plus 2 and 4 to see whether or not they are equal. Because 2 plus 2 is equal to 4, the print statement below is executed. There are other kinds of conditions that we can use as well. For example, by changing the first equal sign to an exclamation mark, like this, we get the condition does not equal. Now let's see what happens when we run the program after our change. Four was not printed to the screen because 2 plus 2 equals 4, and we ask the computer to print 4 if 2 plus 2 does not equal 4. You can also do these operations with strings. Perhaps we want the computer to do something different if the condition in the if statement is not true. This is the purpose of the else statement. Let's make some variable x and y and set them to numbers. Now we'll make an if statement like the one we had before. And finally, the else statement. Now, let's see what happens when we run our program. The computer printed "it isn't 4" because that's what we told it to do in any situation that x plus y did not equal to 4. As you can see, x equals 2 and y equals 3, and 2 plus 3 equals 5. Finally, if there is a situation where you want to include another specific condition with your if and else statements, you can use an elif. The elif simply means do this for some specific situation in which the prior condition is not true. Here's an example. Now the program prints, "it's 5" when we run it because x plus y equals 5. Before I conclude this segment, I would like to emphasize the importance of what is known as proper syntax. Syntax is a word that means the grammar of the computer language. In order for your if, elif, and else statements to work properly, they need to be formatted in this manner. If something is not formatted correctly, your program could display incorrect results or may not even run at all. Let's see what happens when I remove a colon and then run the program. The computer says there is an error, which is commonly known as a bug. We'll talk about debugging and computer bugs more in depth later. But for now, remember that formatting is very important. This concludes the tutorial segment. Make sure to try writing some new scripts using what you have learned in this video. For example, try making the computer print something different depending on what the string is equal to. Have fun and see you next time.